Pawns on one side of the board taught to hate the pawns across from them, neither aware that they're even part of a dark and sinister game of chess. Human life is seen as merely pieces to be moved. The players above them will gladly, often gleefully, sacrifice any of them on the blood-drenched road to domination, their death seen as collateral damage. For the end always justifies the means. But the unaware pawns demand an eye for an eye, calling upon their fellow pawns to enact retribution against the pawns they perceive are their enemy. Now, all the while, the deadly cycle continues generation after generation as the real players exchange smirks across the table. Hamas and the cult behind them care not for the lives of Israelis. That much is as obvious as it is graphic. But Hamas cares not for the lives of Palestinians, the ones they claim to represent, either. Their actions since Israel assisted their creation in 1987 has done nothing but provoke a far superior military power into enacting collective punishment upon the heads of over 2 million Palestinians, 47% of which are kids. The average age in Gaza is a mere 18 years old, and Hamas will regularly act in a way that gives the Israeli military the support, both at home and abroad, to rain bombs upon the innocent. Israel has a right to defend itself is political speak for fill your boots, boys. And in contrast, the Israeli regime and its breathtakingly corrupt and morally bankrupt leader, Benjamin Netanyahu, cares not for the plight of innocent Israelis either. Both sets of civilians are insignificant to the mindset that will shoot families in their homes or will level entire buildings full of families. The world is run by psychopaths to achieve psychopathic results, and the realization that your government doesn't care about you is key to understanding your role on the chessboard. We've been told we must pick a side in a conflict that on the human level has only losers. I'm being told I must choose between a reprehensible group that kills indiscriminately and a reprehensible government that kills indiscriminately. I refuse to make that choice. I choose instead to pick the side of innocent civilians on both sides of the chessboard. I choose to pick the side of freedom for Palestinians and Israelis, where Jewish, Christian, and Muslim brothers and sisters step off the chessboard and refuse to any longer be used in a game that's designed to benefit none of them. People are not born to hate, they're taught to hate, either by propaganda, educational programming, or by witnessing atrocities that are orchestrated by those above them. After the last 3 years of monumental media and government gaslighting, you would think that people would be more wary of the narratives they're being fed. Hamas came through a heavily secured border, surprising the most sophisticated intelligence network on the planet. On the 50th anniversary that Egypt did the same, a surprise attack that kicked off the Yom Kippur War. Egypt has said in the last couple of days that they warned Israel this attack or something similar was coming, but it was ignored. Many former border guards and members of the Israeli public are asking the question, how was this allowed to happen? If a cockroach went near the fence, we'd know about it, said one former soldier. And before you jump to angrily hit the caps lock, I'll read you this quote from 2019. Anyone who wants to thwart the establishment of a Palestinian state has to support bolstering Hamas and transferring money to Hamas. This is part of our strategy. Who said that? Benjamin Netanyahu. The goal for those that control the chessboard is war with Iran. That's been obvious for years, and so people need to be asking questions at this point. Was this a precursor, a Franz Ferdinand moment to achieve the end that this psychopathic cult behind all these governments so desire? It's worth remembering that if you want to assassinate a president, a business leader, or anyone that could be a target, you don't need to pull the trigger when you have the power to remove that person's security. That goes for a nation's border as well. Now, it's time to think critically, to question everything, even amongst the graphic images, emotive headlines, and unverified tales being parroted as fact by the media bobbleheads on both sides, and not allow the gravity of the situation to make us lose our heads. Do you remember how 9/11 turned everyone into a salivating monster, calling for repercussions against anyone and everyone, from foreign nations to the local deli owner? And look how that turned out.